Write a quadratic function in a standard form with zeros 4 and -7. So when we are given the zeros of a function, what we have to do is go backwards from the solutions of the function. I have to build the original function, right? So here what I have, or what I'm given, is the two solutions of the function, but I don't know how is the function. So what I have to do first in this case is to rewrite these zeros as x values, because these are the x-intercepts, right? Remember that the zeros of a function are the x-intercepts of the function. So this would be the first x-intercept is 4 and the second x-intercept is -7. So we know that these are two solutions of the function. So what is the next step? Is to equal each solution to 0, right? So I have to move this 4 that is positive, will go to the other side as negative, equals 0, right? And the other would be x. Since here is -7, will go to the other side as +7. So this is equal to 0. Now, what is the next step? Is remember when we find the zeros of a function, what we do is to first factor and then equal each factor to 0. So now I have the two factors. This is one factor and this is the other factor. So what I have to do is go backwards, one step backwards. So before I equal the factors to 0, I have this step, right? X minus 4 times x plus 7, because this is the step from I have to go to this second step that is equaling to 0, right? But since I'm going backwards, I have to build my function going backwards step by step from the solution to the function. Okay, so this is equal to 0, and what is the last step? Is to FOIL or do distribute property, right? So I have to multiply x times x, x times 7, and then I have to do -4 times x and -4 times +7. So x times x would be x squared, x times 7 would be plus 7x, -4 times x would be -4x, and -4 times +7 would be -28. So this is equal to 0. And at the end, what will be my expression? It would be x squared. Since these are alike terms, I can add them. So this would be 7 minus 4 would be +3x, and then minus 28. So this is equal to 0, right? And now I have my function. This function is in standard form. It's a quadratic function in a standard form. So this is the function that I have with these two solutions, right? Now, how can I rewrite this equation as function? I just have to change the 0 by an f of x equals x squared plus 3x minus 28. And that would be my solution, right? So this is the solution of this exercise, guys. So let's try to do another example, right? Let's go to this one. So as you can read here, write a quadratic function in standard form with zeros 5 and -5, it says. So the solutions for this function are 5 and -5. So the two values of x here are x equals 5, and the other is x equals -5, because that's what it's saying in the exercise, right? So what I have to do then is to equal each solution to 0. So I have to move the 5 to the other side. So this would be -5 equals 0. And then I have x, since here is negative, we'll move to the other side as +5 equals 0. So now I have my two factors. This is one factor and this is another factor. So the next step is to multiply each factor. So this would be x plus 5 and times x minus 5, right? Sorry, this should be negative because this is x minus 5 and then this is x plus 5, right? And those two are equal to 0, right? So what is the last step? Is to do the distribute property with these two factors that I have. But look at this, I have x here, and 5 here, and 5 here. So what kind of factoring is this when I have the same numbers and the same terms on each parenthesis, but only the sign is changing? So this is difference of squares, right? So I can rewrite this as x squared minus the 5 squared. So that 5 squared, and that equals 0, right? This is difference of squares. Remember, when you factor difference of squares, you have this. So this would be x squared minus 25 equals 0. So now I have to rewrite this equation as a function. So this would be f of x, because that means function, right? Equals x squared minus 25. And that will be our solution to this kind of exercises, guys. So whenever you are given the zeros, that means that you have to build the equation. You have to go backwards.